One of the common questions I've been seeing recently on Facebook about publishing is how to publish a series. So if you have a series of books or a trilogy, what should you do to market it? How should you launch your series? There's a lot of opinions on Facebook that I don't think are actually good advice. So this video is kind of about why I don't think you should do what everybody's telling you to do and what I would actually do differently. So what people tell you to do, especially in the indie or self-publishing community, is to wait until the whole series is done and then publish, even if it takes a year or two. So a lot of authors, they have the first book finished, but they haven't finished the next two in the series. So they're asking, I really want to publish this first book. It's all ready to go, but everybody tells me I should wait till it's completely done. So what should I actually do? So that's the question that comes up. And most people on Facebook answer that they should wait until the whole series is done. And the reason is because if you are starting with zero, with no platform, with no email list, you don't have a big budget for advertising or marketing, they would say it's better to have the whole series finished, because if you're working really hard and you're spending a lot of money to promote book one, it's hard to make money on book one. But if all of the series is finished, then people who read book one or buy book one can get book two immediately right away, and then they can get book three immediately right away. So your conversion rate through the series will be higher if the whole series is done. And also, Amazon does give priority to new books. So the common advice is that you should not actually publish all at once, but publish one about 3 weeks apart, so that you publish one and you have a big launch and it's doing pretty well in rankings because it's a new release. Amazon promotes it because it's a new release. Then when it starts tanking, you have another one, and you kind of just keep going up in waves 3 or 4 times if you have a series. And that can work. If you have zero platform, if all you're doing is relying on Amazon to market your book for you and showing it to more readers through the hot new releases program, if you're going to spend a lot of money or try to do a big launch with a lot of advertising, you might make more of the money back if you have a full series ready to go. So that's why other people recommend doing it that way. But the reason I think it's not actually good advice is because in the meantime, you've been waiting a couple years and not building your platform. So I always think you should publish what you have now. So if you have a book that's ready to go, you should put it on Amazon. You don't have to make a lot of money from it. You don't have to do a lot of marketing for it yet. But reviews, for example, take a lot of time to grow, and your book project will have more and more history, which can make it easier to relaunch. There's a lot of reasons, so I'll try to break it down in a lot of different steps. Basically, you could have a book that's reaching readers now. You may not have a super successful launch that makes a lot of money, but you can put a first book out there and start building your platform. Also, if a first book is there, if the second book and the third book is available for purchase, people might purchase it without signing up to your list. But if book one is finished and you have a link to sign up to your email list in the back of book one, people can be signing up to your email list and waiting for book two. So the argument is that readers will forget about you, or they'll forget about your book, or they won't care about the book. A year later, they're not going to want the sequel. That's all possibly true, but you can still get them on your list now. And if they're interested in the book, they may be interested in the book later. And even if they're not, it's still going to be easier for you to market your series later, because in the meantime, book one has been racking up reviews. So for my examples, I put out half books. I made them perma-free for a long time, so they got a lot of reviews. Then I switched them to paid books, and they're earning pretty well now. I get reviews still that say, this book was great, but it's been out a year. Where's the sequel? I really want to read the sequel. That's fine. If people are dissatisfied because your sequel is not available, that just means they like the book and they want to read more. And then you can just say, I'll give you the sequel for free if you sign up to my list. You don't want to, build a small email list and get all of them to buy the book. You want to build a huge email list and get all of them to download the book for free and review the book so that your book sticks on Amazon. So the problem with releasing 3 books at once, or 3-week intervals apart, is that even if you do a really big launch, even if it's a very successful launch and you make some money, it's unlikely your books will stick. So you may make good money for 2 or 3 months, and then your platform because you don't have a mailing list, you don't have a platform, you didn't focus on long-term sales, your sales are going to dry up, and then you're not going to be able to market the books because you still have a first book that doesn't have a lot of reviews, doesn't have a lot of traction. My first books, by the time, like most of my first books will have 100 reviews soon. So some of them are half books. I launched them at half books, and I did some promotion and marketing. I've been building my email list a lot. I give away lots of free copies. People sign up on my list to get the rest of the book for free. When the full book is done, like half books, it was like 40,000 words. So the full books will be 80 or 90,000 words. Half books were free or 99 cents. Now they'll be $2.99. I was focused on my free rank. Now I'm focused on my paid rank. The two books that are half books now are at about 20,000 in the Amazon store. When I relaunch the full book, I'll publish them with new covers, and they'll be $2.99. I'll do some promotion so the full books stick above 10,000 at 99 cents. And that'll be a lot easier because they'll have 100 reviews each. They have about 80 now, but once the full book is done, I can email my list, which is pretty big because I've been doing this for a year and giving away a lot of free books. I'll get over 100 reviews pretty easily. I'll do that again. So like when book 2 is out, all I have to do is do a 99 cent or a free campaign for book 1 with a link in the back to sell book 2. And that will be a strong launch for book 2. If I had pre-orders, I don't have pre-orders anymore, but I may just wait until I have pre-orders again. I lost my privileges for a year, but when I have pre-orders again, and so like this year, I'll probably just focus on finishing more book 1s. When I have pre-orders again, then I'll finish book 2s. I'll do a promo on book 1, which has over 100 reviews, and then I'll have a pre-order link to get book 2. Even if I don't have pre-orders, I could just put out book 2 and then start doing promotion and free campaigns and 99 cent campaigns with book 1 with a link in the back to buy book 2, and that'll work pretty well. And because I have a big list who's been waiting for this for a long time, I can ask them to review book 2 and give them a free copy and get those reviews up pretty quickly. I'll do that again in another year when I have book 3 out. And by this time, book 1 will have like 200 reviews, a really strong history of selling on Amazon. And it'll be easier and easier to sell the whole series. It is true, when you have a full series, it's a lot easier to market. It's a lot easier to spend money on advertising. So I'm not actually focused on advertising or making money from my books right now, even though I'm actually making pretty good money from just the first book in the series because I've been focused on promoting the first book of the series. I haven't been waiting to have a whole series out. And I know when the whole series is out and they can get the whole completed series, then it's going to be much easier to sell everything and actually make money. So that's when I'll start, really upping my advertising spend to book 1, because I know it'll pay off throughout the series. And that'll be easier because each book in my series has been launched individually, is going to have a lot of reviews, and because I've been building a platform. So like it takes time to build up an author platform, to build up followers on Amazon, followers on BookBub, which I think is important, social media followers on Twitter and Facebook. If you just wait 2 or 3 years from now, you're starting from zero and you're going to have all the same problems. It's just as hard to launch and promote a series with no platform as it is to promote and launch a first book with no platform. So during that 2 or 3 years or 1 or 2 years when you're actually writing the rest of the books, you could have book 1 out there working for you right now, even if it's free for 6 months. That's better than not doing anything for 6 months while you're working on other books. You can get a ton of visibility and free promotion, free advertising with a free book. It's the easiest way to reach readers without spending any time or money. So if you have a book ready to go for a potential series, I would put it out right now. And the other really important reason to do this is because you're probably going to get everything wrong the first time. Even if you try to do everything right, you're going to screw most of it up. You will probably use the wrong cover. You probably won't really know what you're doing with book marketing. Your blurb to sell the first book will probably be not terrible, but just not great. It won't be working very well. Those are things you could be testing right now. You could put out the first book and see what's wrong with it? Is it like, do readers hate it? Does it satisfy a market? Is the cover actually attracting your target readership? If it's not, you should be testing a new cover. You don't want to commit and buy 3 covers for a trilogy or a series if the covers don't work, if the art totally doesn't work and doesn't attract your readers. That's something you want to find out on the first book right now. Same thing with the blurb. You're going to have to test. I've gone through like 20 revisions of my blurb. You're going to have to test and tweak a lot to find out what actually works and sells the book. If you don't have a good blurb on book 1, you're not going to sell through the trilogy. So you really have to focus on making sure everything with book 1 is perfect. So that's the blurb and the book cover, and also the extent of how much demand there is for the type of book that you've written and how well your book satisfies that demand. So if you have, a lot of authors have multiple projects. So they say like, I've started several series, I'm not sure which one I should work on. Should I focus on finishing this one that's already out there? Should I focus on finishing this other one? Should I finish the whole series? You shouldn't have to make those decisions right now. You should wait and see which one is the most popular before you commit to spending a lot of time and money on something that may not actually interest readers. And you may not know that until you publish. In my case, my original plan was to publish not even 10 book 1s for potential trilogies. I was going to publish 10 part 1s of just like 10 or 20,000 words, basically. And I didn't really do that because I felt, as a new author when I was starting out, I discovered when I was writing fiction that I'm a pretty slow writer, as in my books build up slowly. They're more slow burn mysteries than action. So the first 10K isn't always enough for me to hook a reader and want them interested in the story. I usually have to get to the first plot point or the midpoint before the story is really taking off and hooks readers. However, now that I've built a platform and I have an audience, I have started publishing shorter books that are only the first like 12,000 words. And that is riskier. What I don't like about it is that because I have a following, Amazon will still, like, I want to put it out there because I publish different books in different genres. So putting out 12K books in new genres that I'm not already in gives me the possibility of being found. These are perma-free books. So there's a possibility of being found by new readers who haven't found me yet, to find me in new genres that they read. And hopefully if they like the first 10K of my story and I offer them to get the rest for free if they sign up to my list, then I'm building new subscribers, new fans on autopilot without doing anything while I'm writing book 1 of the series. And also I'm testing out the covers, I'm testing out the blurb so that I know how well it's converting. I want my free books tend to stay in the top 5,000, but if I was really doing everything right, they would stick a little higher. They start off in like the top 1,000, then they go down to around 5,000. They usually stay above 5,000, and that's with zero promotion. I'm not doing any marketing, but Amazon sends out an email to my followers, and they also send out recommendations, and sometimes I think they send out possibly hot new releases, although I'm not sure if they're actually doing that for perma-free books anymore. And that's not really what I want. I just want my books to be there in the free categories to be found, but I'm not really promoting them yet because I know they're not a satisfying reading experience. On the other hand, I think that putting something out there to find new readers who don't know me yet is better than not having anything and just relying on my existing platform and email list when I launch the book. So this is like, it's free promotion, free marketing. So that's what I do. And I will probably still, like I put out, this year probably, I will focus on putting out a full book 1 for 10 potential trilogies. And I have, let's see, I only have like 2 of those finished. One's like 80,000 words, one's 140,000 words. Most of my book 1s will be like 90,000 words. I have 3 of those that are like half finished, and then I need like 3 more that I have to start from scratch. But that's kind of my goal for this year. I already know what books are the best sellers. I have one series that has done amazingly well, much better than I expected. So that's, you don't always know what's going to be popular. So it's not my favorite book. It's not my favorite series, but that one has sold really well. It sticks really well on Amazon. So I put out book 2, of that series, and book 2 is also doing really well and making money. And that's great. With those 2 books, I'm making most of my money on Amazon right now is with those 2 books. So now that I know that that book is really hot and readers really like that book, I'll probably finish up book 3 of that series and finish the full series this year, rather than spending a lot of time on new series that I don't even know if readers are going to like yet. So that's important to test out. Like if my first book 1s weren't doing that well, I probably wouldn't spend a lot of time. Well, first I would figure out why. I'd figure out exactly why they're not doing very well. Probably it's the book cover or the blurb. I would focus on making sure book 1 is doing well, or figuring out what went wrong and why it's not connecting with readers the way I hoped it would. That's something you need to know so that you can start writing better books that satisfy readers more. You may think it's your greatest work, but if readers don't like it, it's not going to earn any money. You don't deserve to get paid for writing unless readers are satisfied with an enjoyable experience that you provided for them. That's your job as an author. You can't, I got a review recently that's my new favorite review, and it said, Derek Murphy could be a great writer if he wrote books that readers need instead of books that they want. And I thought that was really interesting and clever, because I intentionally write books that readers want. That's why my books do so well and earn money, because I'm writing books readers want. I think a lot of writers are writing books they think readers need. So they're writing a book to educate or to share or to improve the genre. Like they want to step into a genre and do something totally new that transforms the genre and takes it to a higher level. That's going to be a failed project almost all the time. You need to know what readers want out of a genre, satisfy those reader expectations, and then you can over-deliver. Then you can change and improve and do something new and exciting they've never done before. But if you're not satisfying the basic entertainment qualities that they've come to expect from the genre, nobody's going to like your book. And if they don't like your book, they don't care what you intended to do with it or what you're like. A lot of writers have, they wrote a book for a purpose. And if you write a book for a purpose because you're trying to do something, that's kind of propaganda. You need to focus, like writing a good story that satisfies readers should be your purpose. That should be why you're writing books. And if it's not, it's going to be really hard for you to make any money with them, no matter how many books you write or no matter how you publish your book. So I think considering the strategy of I should wait a couple years and only publish like 3 weeks at a time so I can take advantage of Amazon's new release program, if that's your marketing strategy, if you're relying on Amazon as a marketing strategy, that's going to fail anyway. It might work a little bit better in the short term because you can ride the wave of popularity for a few months, but then you're starting over with zero with no platform. Those books aren't going to keep earning. It's very unlikely those books are going to keep earning. It could work. It has worked for some people. If you want to start off that way, like if you have all the books ready, if you have a completed trilogy and you're wondering how to write the books, then yeah, that's how I would do it. But I wouldn't trade off the year or two of free marketing and author platform building that you could be having if you were releasing books now. And I also wouldn't trade off the education that you would learn from trying to promote book 1 and figuring out why it's not selling and figuring out book marketing and how to build your platform. If you wait to start doing that 2 years from now when the full series is complete, you're going to be missing out on a huge education curve because it takes a couple years just to learn how to publish books, how to build your platform, and it does take time to build up. So for me personally, because I am writing series, I am writing trilogies, I would put book 1 out for free now, or I would put even the first part of book 1 out for free now. If you only have 15,000 words, 20,000 words, I would put that out now. I'd put it out wide on Draft to Digital so it's everywhere, and then price match it on Amazon. I'd also put it out on Insta Freebie. I'd do some promotions for the free book. You can start with a free book that's 15 or 20,000 words and then keep the same project and just update the full book, update the full book file, update a new cover. Sometimes, like if I start with a 15K free book, I want there to be a marker that it's a full book. So I'll say, like, you have to be really clear in the description, this is only 15K, this is not a complete novel, this is just a sample, otherwise some readers will get mad. But if you do it well, and it's a satisfying, 10 or 15K, it's not that short. If readers get a free read out of it and they like it, they may leave a positive review. The free books that I put out recently, that's like 10K, 12K, it only has 12 reviews, but it's still getting a lot of downloads. And when the full book is actually ready, I can just switch to paid. And having 12 reviews when I start is better than having 0 reviews when I start. And when the book is paid, I can just email my list. And I'll actually, the other problem with this is that if you have a free book and people download it, when you have the full book, they can't download the full book from Kindle. So I have to email my list and tell them, if you haven't already got it, the full book is now ready, you can download it. If you've already downloaded it, then here's a link to BookFunnel where you can get the full book in any format. So I do it that way, but then I just replace the same file. So I have the same project as the short sample book, but now it's the full paid book. I'll usually update the cover. I'll usually say this is now the full complete novel. So I make sure it's pretty clear. And then I would unpublish everywhere and put it all in KU and do a relaunch and price it 99 cents for a while to build up the sales and conversion history. And then I'd switch to $2.99. And probably I can get it to stick pretty well at $2.99, even as the first book in the series, even without any other books. You don't have to wait till you have a series. You can make money with one book right now if you do it well, if you launch well. And if you use if you do more than just rely on Amazon, because there's a lot of competition on Amazon. People are launching books all the time. Your natural Amazon reach will always continue to go down because more people are publishing more books. So you do need to keep publishing new books ideally I would do it every month. And that's kind of what I'm working up towards. But I think even every 2 or 3 months is fine. You just need to keep putting out new books and working on new books, but you should have something out there now while you're working on new projects that's actively building your platform for you. So the other thing I found, if you are doing a series, cliffhangers work better to sell through to book 2 or to get people on your list than satisfying complete novels. So if you have a satisfying complete novel, readers may kind of like it, but they may not like it enough to sign up to your email list or to buy the second book in the series. But if you just publish like a perma-free half book that ends on a big cliffhanger, it's more likely that people will sign up to your list. So if you don't want to publish the first one for free, or if you don't want to publish the first book right now because you want to wait till book 2 or book 3 is out, you could still publish the first half of book 1 as a perma-free book for like 6 months while you're writing other books in the series. And that way you get the best of both worlds, because your first half book can have a link to sign up to your email list, and people who like your first half book can be signing up. You can build your email list to 2,000 or 3,000, and those will be actual readers who liked the book. And that's a really powerful position to start from, so that when you finish book 2, for example, then I would release the first full book and book 2, switch the link in the back of the full book 1 to pre-order or buy book 2 in the series, and then do some heavy marketing on book 1 for the series, and then just let it go. Put book 1 at 99 cents or $2.99 and book 2 at $2.99 or $3.99, and leave it alone for 6 months while you're writing the third book in the series. That way you're making money. Because the other thing I hear a lot is that authors they have to decide because they're not making any money with their books, and they don't have time because they have a full-time job. So they have to know, what book should I work on, because they're worried about this all being a waste of time and never making any money with their fiction. That's a difficult position to be in. You want to be either making money right now or building your list and your platform right now, so that you don't have to spend time and money on advertising and marketing later. Which is why you should be putting out books now, and especially doing perma-free books, which work really well, but a lot of authors are still reluctant to do it. So that's my advice on why the advice, I've posted this in groups, and most other authors disagree with me. A lot of other publishing and indie published authors are strong advocates of waiting to have a full series. But that's usually because they don't know how to market books. They haven't been building a platform. They don't have an email list. And so, yeah, that's the best way to do it for immediate short-term results. But it's not the best way to do it if you're building a strong, stable, long-term author platform that is actually going to allow you to make a living. So that's my advice. I hope it helps to make a decision. If you have some writing and you're excited about it, put it out there. Make it free. Get it in the hands of readers. Building a platform takes time. You want to start now and continue. Like, it gets easier and easier over time. So you always want to have something out there for now. My perma-free books, when I switched them to paid, I put out 2 more perma-free books. I always have 2 or 3 short perma-free books out there working for me, which is why I rarely need to do any book marketing or book advertising, because that's my book marketing. That's how I build a platform. That's how I get followers to buy my other books. So it does work really well. You do still need really good covers and really good blurbs, but that's something you can experiment with your perma-free books so that you figure out the formula that works. A lot of times, I know book covers are expensive, so a lot of authors just buy a book cover and then they just keep spending money on advertising or marketing. But if the book cover is killing your conversions, that's your problem. You need to fix that problem. And that's something you can only figure out with testing and experimentation. Thanks. Bye-bye.